thank you for joining me. Cindy here from CLB Craft Creations with our third project in the week of Giftables. This is a pretty quick project. It uses our square pillow box thinlit dies, and we're going to be embossing that with the Woodland Impressions folder. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just thought it added a little touch of elegance, and unfortunately this ribbon is no longer available, but we do have the Cherry Cobbler striped gross grain ribbon that you could also do with this project as well. You could also even change up the colors, do this in Very Vanilla, and use the new Very Vanilla striped ribbon that we have that came out in the holiday catalog. But let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is I've actually already die cut my paper, just because it's a little quicker than having to switch back and forth with the plates. I'm using the shimmery white cardstock, and I know that you can't actually see the shimmer on this, but it makes a difference with the project, I think, just because you can see that little bit of shimmer in there. So again, I went ahead and die cut 2 pieces of this with the square pillow box thinlits, and so this is ready to go. We're going to bring in our impressions folder. I'm also going to bring in my Big Shot, so hopefully we can get this in the camera. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I've just got my multi-purpose platform, and then I've got my clear plate. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and die cut both of these at the same, or not die cut, but emboss these both at the same time. I have not had any trouble with that. I've made several of these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, because I want the pattern going up and down. You could do it either way you want. I just want the pattern going, with it going this way, I want the pattern going up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in, but I'm going to leave the tabs sticking out. So I'm going to line that up with the edge of the folder. So that piece that is scored, I'm going to leave sticking out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on. So because it's a 6x6 folder, we need to make sure that that tab is on the inside piece. Okay, and then I'm just going to put my other clear plate on top, and I'm going to roll it through. And it does actually go through, no issues. I don't think that I would put any more than these. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Okay, and so see, that didn't have any issues at all embossing those. So go ahead and give your square marks a fold and a press. And you will have to decide, I guess, at this point, which side you want out. I didn't think about that. I'm actually going to put the debossed side out this time. The other one is with it in. It really doesn't matter, at least to me anyway. I think it's pretty either way. Although I will say that this actually, you can see it more with the debossed image than I think with the other one. Personally, I don't know. And then this one I'm just going to gently push in. I'm not going to actually run my bone folder over it, but I just want to help that form so that when we go to close up the box that it goes a little easier. Okay, same thing with this one. And a tip for you when it comes to putting these boxes together, you can either use liquid glue if you have the time for it to set and dry, or I would recommend using either the tear and tape or the fast fuse, just because you really want to make sure. So the tip is you want adhesive all the way on both ends here, because if not, then it will sort of buckle or pull when you go to actually close it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my tear and tape out. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that right in there, making sure that it's all the way edge to edge. Give it a little press. And then of course any excess that you have there, you just fold in. You could cut it if you wanted to. All right, now I'm going to take the other side. Now we want to go tab, no tab, tab. And I'm just going to line up those corners, or those edges. So make sure that you get this where you want it before you really press down, because with that strong adhesive, it won't go anywhere. Okay, and then I'm going to really give it a nice press, a nice rub, just to make sure that those attach. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Got way too much on this one, but that's okay, we'll make it work. Again, edge to edge. Peel off the backer. Fold over any excess. Okay, and now I'm just going to fold that down on the inside, and then I'm going to bring the other end up. And then I'm just going to line up those edges, corner to corner. And just give it a nice press. Okay, so that is our box construction. And so it lays nice and flat before you actually assemble it. So you would go ahead and stick your goodies in. Go ahead and fold down one side, and the other. You could also put adhesive on that if you wanted to. I didn't feel like I needed it. So again, close that in, and then you can put some treats. Don't have any treats to put in this. But you could just go ahead and dump your treats in there, or gift card, or whatever you're putting in there, and then go ahead and fold the other side down. Okay, so I like to keep it so that the folds are going towards the back, and then you're just going to take your ribbon and tie a nice bow. I'm going to attempt to do this real quick. Again, it does come together pretty quickly, although I'd say that the bow is probably the hardest part, especially if you're not the greatest at tying bows like me. Okay, so just fold over. That's the one thing I loved about this ribbon, though, is that it actually tied such a pretty bow without not a lot of effort. Okay. Now you can work your bow so that it looks how you wish. And you really don't need to see me perfecting it. I'm going to let it kind of go at an angle, I think, on this one. Whatever works for you. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the tail on that one. And then, okay, and then the final touch, which I didn't have on the original, is I have just a little circle. This is a 1 3/4 inch. Actually, I take that back. I think this is actually the 1 inch. Nope. 1 1/2. I was right. No, it wasn't. It was 1 1/2, not 1 3/4. So 1 1/2 inch circle punch. And I also have this punched out on the shimmery white cardstock. And I used my cherry cobbler ink with the a little something, and I used the a little something for you. And then you're just going to take a glue dot. And if you wanted to actually punch this, or like punch a hole and actually attach it with a string, you could, but I thought this looked kind of cute just right up here in the corner. And then there is your finished card, or it's not a card project, I'm so used to saying that. That is your finished giftable project. Here's the original. And this one actually was made with just the Whisper White cardstock, where this one was made with the shimmery. And it's a, if you can tell, it's a slightly different color, but the shimmer looks so pretty. So I hope that you'll give this one a try. And I do actually have a bonus project. I was only going to do 3, and I decided at the last minute that I'm going to do a 4th project as well. So you should probably see that up on Monday. So enjoy. I hope that you all have a wonderful holiday, and I will talk to you soon.